Awesome. And that is time. Great job on today's Do Now. We're going to be doing a lot of different exercises like this where we identify key terms for contextualization, because as we've stated in the past, this is one of our biggest pieces of growth for the IA and the AP exam. Your introduction paragraph is going to be worth 2 points, which is a thesis and contextualization. And the more we practice with contextualization, since you guys have done so well with your theses, the plural of thesis, we are going to be able to make sure that when it's time for the AP exam and the IAs, they have a guaranteed 2 points on the essay portion. With that, we are going to transition to today's main inquiry. If you want to move on to slide 4. Awesome, thank you. I have 6 of us there. Make sure we're staying on slide 4 and we're not moving further. It's the one that says main inquiry. Awesome, most of us are there. So today's main inquiry is going to be, did the American citizens or the American government cause the Great Depression? Go ahead and take 1 minute, brainstorm some key terms in addition to what we just talked about in the Do Now that would be good outside evidence for an essay on the Great Depression. 1 minute to brainstorm. Go ahead and get started. Thank you, Shakeem, for your urgency in getting started. Ooh, awesome key terms I'm seeing from Skyanne, Caleb. Make sure it's, you guys are using key terms from yesterday's lectures. Awesome, I'm seeing the Great Crash. I'm seeing credit cards. The Mellon Plan, very good. Laissez-faire. And take 30 more seconds. Consumerism, the stock market. Yes, the stock market is basically the bad guy in this situation. Ooh, Alexis bringing in limitations of the New Deal, that the New Deal did not solve everything. Awesome, 15 seconds to finish up and then we will move on. Awesome, Shakeem brainstorming some outside evidence like Herbert Hoover, who was the president during the beginning of this. Awesome job jumping in with that brainstorm. Can I hear from Jalasia, Skyanne, and Shakeem why they picked those outside evidence points? Jalasia, Skyanne, and then Shakeem.
I said it was caused by American citizens due to overuse of the stock market and credit cards.
I chose the laissez-faire in advertising, and I think that this could be connected with the American government.
This one, Herbert Hoover's little support plus his assault in the bonus march, in addition to laissez-faire policy, that it was the American government because they didn't really facilitate businesses like they should have.
Awesome. I love that in these key terms, and a lot of you guys had these different key terms, but what I like about these is they all represent the fault on both sides. Some of these issues are issues with the American public, and some are issues with the American government. So today in our document analysis, we are going to be looking at who is, like, if we have to pick somebody, whose fault is it? In your document analysis, you're going to have a significant statement. So again, this question, Is it the American citizens or the American government that caused the Great Depression? And one break it down question that's going to help you find the most important parts of this document. You're going to have 13 minutes to do the 5 documents. They're all pretty short. You're going to have 13 minutes to read through. I might pause this periodically to address any misconceptions we might have, and then we'll come together to discuss whole group. 13 minutes to read and annotate these documents. Make sure you're writing a significant statement and answering the break it down question. 13 minutes on the clock. I'm going to restrict us to those screens. Go ahead and get started. Chat me if you have any questions. Make sure that you're moving on to screen 5 and you're annotating document 1. Awesome response to the break it down question, Leah. You're exactly right. You have 10 more minutes. Make sure that you're typing into the Desmo so that way I can see what responses you guys are thinking of. Awesome pacing, Alexis, Cheyenne, Leah, Skyen, Caleb, Shakeem, Giovanni. should all be on document 2. Seven and a half minutes. We should all be on documents 2 and 3, or slides 6 and 7. Awesome analysis of document 2, Giovanni and Shakim. Also, Sierra and Caleb, great analysis of document 2. In 30 seconds, I'm going to be restricting access to documents 3 through 5. So you have 30 seconds to finish up on document 2. You're now just going to have access to documents 3 through 5. You have 6 minutes to finish your annotations. I'm going to give us a little bit more time. You have 6.5 minutes to finish the last 3 documents. Awesome analysis of the credit card system on document 3 from a lot of you guys. In 30 seconds, I'll be restricting us to documents 4 and 5. You have 4 minutes. I'm restricting us to documents 4 and 5. Awesome pacing, Shakeem, Mahmoud, and Giovanni, and Ashley. I'm going to add 1 more minute to the clock. We have 4 minutes to finish all of our annotations for these documents. And then we'll come back for some discourse. Three and a half more minutes to finish your annotations. 2.5 more minutes. We should all be working on the last document to keep up with pacing. For your document 5 significant statement, make sure you're telling me if this is the government's or the people's fault for document 5. Make sure you have that added in the significant statement. One more minute to finish our annotations on document 5. Awesome. Thank you, Giovanni, for making sure you named that it was the whose fault you think it was on document 5. Go ahead and take the next 15 seconds to finish that last annotation that you have. Awesome. So now I'm going to ask that you guys move to slide 10. It should be the last of your restricted slides on Desmos. Thank you. You have 3 of us there, 4 of us, 5, 6, 7. Make sure we're sliding over to slide 10. I think you have 8, 9, 10, 11. Awesome. So now what I want you guys to do on slide 10 is answer the question. Did the American citizens or the American government cause the Great Depression? You're gonna have 90 seconds to tell me your initial thoughts. Then I'm gonna come back and call on people from 2 different groups to hear whether or not we think it's the American people or the government. And then we'll jump in with some discourse for the remainder of class until the exit ticket. 90 seconds to give me your initial thoughts, and then we'll come back together as a group. You should also have access to the documents in case you need to check them. Awesome. I'm seeing like 50-50 on citizens versus the government. Thirty more seconds to tell me your initial thoughts, and then we'll come back together for discourse. 10 more seconds to finish shaping your initial thoughts. Awesome. Let's go ahead and come back together for discourse. First, representing the two sides, American citizens versus the American government, can I hear from Alexis and then Soraya? Alexis and then Soraya.
I said, I think the American citizens are the cause of the Great Depression because when some people are being restricted, mostly the poor people, the wealthy people were able to gain an opportunity and get money, but they also abused their power.
I think it was the government because even though the citizens did like stuff with their credit cards in the stock market, the government promoted it and made it seem like it was helping everyone when in reality it wasn't.
Awesome. We just heard two really great initial ideas. I want everybody to take 45 seconds to find a piece of evidence that supports your argument. So you've heard from the two sides, but you've all made your initial arguments. 45 seconds, find a piece of evidence that supports your argument. And then I'm going to be cold calling on two more people. 45 seconds, find that evidence. Go ahead and get started. Awesome. I love seeing the jumping between documents that a lot of people are doing. See everybody going through the slides. I'm going to give us a little bit more time, 30 seconds to get the documents, to get that evidence. Five more seconds, make sure you have that piece of evidence in case I cold call you. Awesome. Can I hear from Cheyenne and then Leah? Cheyenne and then Leah, what's some evidence that supports your argument? Make sure you tell us what your argument is.
Okay, my argument is that the American citizens caused the Great Depression because of the stock markets and credit cards. And my evidence is in document 3. And it says when people have bought all they could afford, they stopped buying production slack and workmen were laid off until the surplus was used up.
Awesome. And Leah, can you jump in? Oh, sorry.
My argument is that the American government caused depression because they advocate the production, the sources for citizens to feel the need to buy the resources or whatever. In document 1, I said that, and because anyone can do that, I am firm in my belief that anyone not only can be rich, but ought to be rich. Thank you.
Leah, I'm really glad that you brought up document 1. Would you mind bringing up what you shared in your break it down question? My break it down question was, how is this guy's background influencing the advice that he's giving? You're the only person that really got that perspective. Leah, would you mind sharing what you wrote?
Yeah, sure. I said that it seems as he is already rich and already has the money to save. So he feels that if he can do it, anyone can do it.
Yes, awesome analysis of that document, Leah. That was the first instinct I had when I read document one, was like, it's really easy to tell people they should be rich if you're already rich. Okay, I'm gonna give us the opportunity to either raise hands or jump in with jumping in on either side. Otherwise, I can still continue to cold call. But if anybody would like to jump in into the discourse, you guys can go and raise your hand. If not, I did see some written down perspectives that I'd love to call on. Awesome, Shakeem, go ahead.
I thought it was American citizens because it's like they persisted with consumerism through like, even though it was not properly facilitated in the stock markets, and also they continued to use their credit cards, but they didn't like really pay attention to the risk of like debt.
Awesome, thank you, Shakeem. And would anybody else like to jump in? Okay, that's fine. Can I also hear from Sierra and then Takia? What did you guys think?
I said that the American government was to blame because, like, in document 4, it says that, like, Hoover's policies were, like, not appealing to the poor.
I said that it was the American citizens that caused the Great Depression because in document 5, it said that during this time people were spending a lot of money on stocks because it was booming, but the moment 1929 happened, it started going downhill, causing them to lose it.
Awesome, thank you guys so much for jumping in with that information. Now I want to push our understanding, because I agree that we shouldn't cut people slack. Like, if you're gonna buy a ton of things on credit that you don't need, there are consequences for that. But is it fair to blame American citizens for the Great Depression after it happens? I'm specifically referencing document, where is it? It's the document about Hoover. Yes, document 3. So looking more closely at document 3, do we think it's fair to blame American citizens? Take 30 seconds to think on that. Awesome. Would anybody like to jump in? Do we think it's fair to blame the American citizens, specifically looking at document 3? Giovanni, go ahead and jump in.
I said no because the government was supposed to at least try to help the American citizens get back on track, but the Hoover administration didn't.
Awesome job, you guys. Loved the use of going back to the evidence and using that outside evidence that we brainstormed earlier. Clearly, you guys know what consumerism and what credit meant in the 1920s and 30s. I'm going to go ahead and stop restricting our screen. You guys can go and scroll to the last slide, slide 11, for the exit ticket. It's basically a mini short answer question. You guys know how to do these with a new stimulus. Make sure in part A that you're comparing it to another document. And when you compare it to another document, you're putting that document in your own terms, in your own words. Once you are done with the exit ticket and you hit turn in on Google Classroom, you are free to go once I tell you I see your submission. So again, once I see your submission on both Google Classroom and Desmos, you will be free to go. Go ahead and head on over to the exit ticket. Chat me if you have any questions. Go ahead and get started. Awesome job today. Awesome. I see us going back to our old arguments and the documents for evidence. Awesome use of the documents in Part A. Awesome. And thank you, Shakeem. I just got your submission on Google Classroom. You're free to go. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Sierra. You're free to go. Have a great day. Again, I'm making sure that you submit something both on Desmos and then submit in Google Classroom. Make sure you do both of those things before you go. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Soraya, Caleb, Giovanni. And thank you, Jalasia. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Ashley.